Hey guys, what a day. Man, we are trading in some extraordinary times. And all I can say is we just need to sit back and take it in. I mean, we've never seen a market like this before. And it requires just incredible focus and just sticking to your game plan, coming in every day and just being consistent, just managing your risk and just learning because we're all learning how this market works. What this market wants, what you can do in it, what you can't do in it. But the only way to learn that is to just be consistent in what we do every day. No matter what the results are, we need to be consistent and we need to do it throughout. So not, next time we'll know what to tweak. And that's all it takes is tweaks. It doesn't take wholesale changes. You don't come in wanting to do this in a bear market and do that in a bull market. The trades are the same. The market may react different, but you got the same tickers and you're going to trade your same strategy. You may make a tweak here or there, but that's it. But like I said, we gotta be focused. And this says follow one course until successful. We have to stay on the same course. We can't keep deviating as we're going down this road and learning and mastering trading. If we keep deviating and we keep making this turn and that turn because this looks good here or that looks good over there, we're never going to get to our destination. And if we do, we're going to be so screwed up that we won't even know that we're there. So you have to follow one course. And that's why my roadmap to success, it just takes you down one course because that's all you need. One of the most challenging parts of mentoring is trying to get everybody they're bringing everything that they've learned and trying to apply it to the strategies that I trade, and they're really really simple and they don't require all of these studies, all of these technical studies that you can come up with, like stochastics. And I've had people try to incorporate all of that stuff, and I'm like, you're just making trading too complicated. The actual strategies, all of that is not complicated at all. That's the easy part. The mental part is what's hard. Executing consistently every day, no matter what the result, that's hard. And that's why that exercise, I have that first exercise in the roadmap that it may take you a while to get through because it's going to force you to learn how important it is to be consistent and how hard it is for you to work your way through a lot of the issues that you're going to face as traders. So, my advice, follow one course until you're successful. Just go in one direction. Don't deviate. Get to that part, get to the finish line, and then you can start doing your thing. Because no matter what happens, no matter how far left or right you go, if you get lost, you always have a point you can come back to and start over. So, that's why I feel it's really important. All right, so this morning we traded ZM, and this is the all-day hold. We didn't enter it where we typically would want to enter it. Typically, I like to enter these pre-market because that way I can use the pre-market low, which is right here, as my stop. that typically if a stock takes out the pre-market low, the move is dead. The trending that it's doing is pretty much dead. But this stock really wasn't trending pre-market, so there was nothing here. This came up. This was on our watch, and it came up that we had started to put in an uptrend here, and I made a cardinal sin. I took this as a all-day hold, and I took it as a day trade. And that should never, ever, ever happen. I was telling you guys in chat, I like this for an all-day hold, and I'm going to do, day trade this thing. And I gave you all-day hold. The first target was going to be the 52-week high, and that was going to be the final target for the day trade. Well, I get it, and we'll talk about the day trade in a minute. But the reason why you don't want to do both is because an all-day hold is not meant to be watched all day. It's meant to, you get in it, you set your stop, you set your profit targets, and you walk away from it. You let the stock do the work. You sitting there watching it, cheering it on, living and dying with each up and down tick does not help it work itself out any faster or any better. It just works your nerves and shortens your lifespan. So that's not what this is designed to do. It's designed to get in, set your stop. And in this case, I had to set a max loss stop because I could not give it, I couldn't get in here at, let's just round it off at 124 and give it 117 stop. That made absolutely no sense. So I had to kind of split the difference. And instead of giving it 7 points, I give it 3.5. And that's what I was going to give it, because I felt the potential for us to get upwards of 140 today was really, really strong. This stock, when it gets going, really takes off and moves. But you can see it was really wicked, getting in. And I'm in a day trade here. And I'm frustrated because I'm watching this and I'm expecting a solid move up. We're not getting it. So that was the issue I had. But you can see this thing, when I looked at it at lunch, I was like, man, we may not even get here today. So let me put my profit target at 128. That's when I posted in chat that I'm changing my first profit target from the 52-week high here to 128. And I did that. My next target was the 52-week high. And then I had another one for like 133. And then 135 is where I was going to take the rest. But we didn't get over 132.50. We didn't get over here. This pullback and push failed. And then the market started rolling over, and this rolled over with it. And I ended up taking it off right before the close here, which is what we do. Now, I've seen sometimes this thing start to roll over and then rip the last 5 or 10 minutes and end up going higher. But it didn't do that this time. I kind of stuck to the script and ended up making a pretty decent amount. Now, if you were in chat aftermarket, you got to see this. Tesla, I was in the process of making my slides for the recap and all of that. And this news came over Benzinga about Tesla having to close down. They were staying open. They were at odds with the local government. They wanted them shut down. Tesla wanted to keep working. But I guess they were forced to get shut down. And all of this other stuff came out. So I'm like, I got to short this. Tesla ran up $100 today. I got to short this. I was thinking we could come back in $50. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie. And I was in the wrong account. So I tried to short it. Didn't have enough buying power. I had to switch accounts real quick so I could short it. But you see, we had plenty of room. The first target was going to be the 200. I mean, that's a no-brainer. There was nothing but room down here to the 200. Now, yeah, I wish I had caught it earlier, but I was fumbling around trying to get logged in the right account and ended up catching it late. But that's fine because I know Tesla has big move potential, and this was not good news. So got to the first target, and it tried to bounce a little bit. I thought we had it when we came through and claimed the 200. I mean, not claimed it, but lost the 200. But then the next candles turned around and claimed it back, and we kind of pushed up. I think now we're down to 394, but it did recover, never did get back down here. But this was one of those plays like we did a couple weeks ago. I don't sit there and wait for these every day. If I just happen to be sitting here and this news comes out and it's something that is just too good to pass up, we're going to trade it. I can't remember the ticker we traded a couple weeks ago. It has some FDA approval news. It went from $30 all the way up to $100. You know, we were able to trade some of that out the market, but I wasn't looking for it. I just happened to be here at the time. And that's kind of the way this is. You know, I just happened to be here doing what I need to do to close out my day. And it happens to a lot of people. I think one or two people did take it, catch it with me that could trade Tesla. Not everybody could trade it. Now that it's down here, you know, in the $400 range, $400 range, I can work with it. I couldn't work with it when it was like $700, $800. I couldn't trade it then. But so we got that nice surprise on Tesla, and so we got a nice bump in our swing account. 43.74.87. This is right on the heels of the $3,000 day we had yesterday on an all-day hold. So now I'm beginning to understand what this market is going to give us. It only took a couple weeks, but I'm starting to see just trading my strategies, being consistent and executing them when they set up and when I see them. I'm starting to see maybe this during these times, this all-day hold thing is going to work good. That's going to keep you from getting chopped out of these big swings that we see. And let's take a look at the daily chart real quick. All right, so this is a 20-year daily chart. So we're going to go back 20 years because I want to point something out to you. The reason why I say we're living in extraordinary times, we're living through this extraordinary market. I can go back for 20 years, and every time we come into the sell-off, even the bear market we fell into between 2007 and 2009 during the financial crisis, looked nothing like this. And look at what we see. I'll blow it up even more. Look at what we see. Look at the wicks on every one of these candles. And look at what we've done going down. Gap down. Gap down. Gap up. Gap down. Gap down. Gap up. Gap down. Gap up. Gap down. But the wicks are taking up the gaps almost. All right. But look today. We didn't have a gap up or a gap down. We closed at around 240 yesterday. We opened this morning at 239 something. What was it? 239.25. 75 cents away from the close yesterday. There's no gap. And look at the day. So, of course, everybody's saying, okay, the price action is slowing down, these candlesticks, the bodies are getting tighter, they're getting smaller. Is this the bottom? I don't think so. All right, we may get a relief bounce. We may get a gap up tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be sustained unless a miracle happens. Okay, anything can happen in the market, guys, but I'm saying, in my humble opinion, we haven't touched bottom yet, even though it looks, this is the price action we look for when we start to see a bottom. We look for the candlesticks to get shorter, tighter together, closer together. And that may be what we're starting to see. It's too early to tell, but I think we go lower because we really have no clue what we're dealing with. I hear every day it gets worse and worse and worse. And stuff that we don't even know, that we're just finding out. So, yeah, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Are we going to get a handle on it? Absolutely. We're resilient. We're going to get a handle on it. But it's hard getting everybody to come together to do the right thing. It's really difficult. We've lived with a lot of freedom. We've taken our freedom for granted. And it's kind of hard to deal with the lack of freedom when you had it for so long. But we'll get through it. But that's my humble opinion on the market. So I did this because I want you to see. Let's go back to all right, this was a sell-off that we had back in 2015. I went too far back, but look at that. We had one wicked candle, and then we had this jumping around, but we weren't continuously selling off. We were kind of in the same general area. You could look at these candles. The market was real spotty. Look at the low volume. We've been through some iffy times. Let's go to, let's see, this was 2016. This was that dip in 2016. Not a big deal, right? It was a big deal at the time, but looking at it now, it's nothing. All right, here's 2018. This was the end of 2018. This is just as uniform of a move down as you can get. And we traded this and we made a ton of money on it. It was really easy to trade. Nothing like what we're doing here. All right, last thing. Let's go back to, let's see what the market looked like back in 2001 after 9/11. I got to go back a little bit more. A little bit more. All right, there we go. It doesn't even look like anything happened, does it? The market shut down between here and here. The market was closed for several days. Here, we opened back up with a gap down. But look at the price action. It wasn't overly exaggerated. Even we went through the greatest tragedy that we've had on American soil. and well, since the Civil War. And look at it. It's nowhere near fractured. If you go back to the financial crisis that started in 2007, that's where the last bear market between 2007 and 2009. Let's go through. I want to get to 2007 here. All right, so here was a big move up. Here's where it started. We had a little blip back here, and then we pulled back up, made a new high, and then we got into the bear market here during the financial crisis. But all through this, look at it. Just look at it. Nothing like what we're experiencing here. Nothing. So that's why I say this is extraordinary times. Trading through this, everybody's trading through it for the first time. Just because you've traded through a bear market doesn't mean you know what to do. This is different. Completely different. And we can look at the chart. That's why I showed you the chart and went back, because you may say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I can go back and look at the chart and tell you, even though I wasn't trading in 2007, 2008, or during 9/11, I could look at the chart and tell you it's not close to being what it is here. So we are learning, we're growing, and we're just being consistent. All right, so we had another kind of tough day in the small account, trying to do some day trading. And I really messed this one up, because this would have worked. But the problem is, number one, I was scared, because I'm scared of day trading ZM. I don't have a problem taking it and not watching it, but I know what this stock does. I've traded it before in the last couple of weeks. I don't like it, but I got in it, and I was expecting a big push, a big run up, and that's where I went wrong. I had the wrong expectation. I came in with expectations, and me being in an all-day hold, I had to cut it off, because all I was thinking about was going back and changing the all-day hold, changing my targets and all of this stuff. That's all I was thinking about. So I had to cut this off. I couldn't let it continue to work, and it would have worked. I mean, eventually, look at where it went. It would have been a really nice trade. I could have added to it on a pullback and added to it again and had a really nice day on this. But like I was saying earlier, you don't want to make the mistake of being in a day trade and an all-day hold, or day trading a stock that you're swinging, or that you just entered a swing trade in, because your mind is going to connect it to, and that swing trade is never going to make it to the end, because you're going to use this intraday volatility to kind of mess you up. So that was ZM. I took it off because I had to. I just couldn't. It was really messing with my mind. So went to our old buddy Roku, and it worked out good. Finally, I got a really nice trade with Roku. We danced for a little bit. It didn't make it to my final target, but got the last piece off at break even, or just above break even. But really pulled in a nice haul here. I get to looking at getting it again. I'm thinking, hey, we made a higher low here. The last bump was a higher high. Let's see if we can make a run at this. It never did get over this 74.35 level. It tried, but it never did, and it washed me out here. So ended up only 96 bucks. I think I had maybe $300 on this trade. Maybe 280 to 300, somewhere in there. But this right here took me all the way back. All the way back. You can see only ended up with $58 in Roku. And I took this other trade off and it had 65 bucks. But this was a really, really bad trading day. And what's happening is the secondary trades, the initial opening range trades work beautifully. Oftentimes the secondary trades and the trend continuation in this market will chop you out unless you give it a ton of room. And that's where all day holds come into play. It gives you a ton of room. So I know I was trying to decide what the class was going to be on next week. It's going to be on all day holds again. I'm going to go through that. And honestly, it's what you should do when you're trying to segue into swing trading. You have to learn how to disconnect from your trades, or else you will never sleep at night. And all day holds was kind of my segue into doing that. So today gave me a lot of information on all fronts. The last thing I want to tell you about this BA, I'm starting to build a long position. I said I wanted to get long around 100 bucks. I want to be ready when this stimulus and all of this stuff hits. I really believe this is going to rebound. Stocks can only get broken down but so much. And you look at BA, it's time. Now BA has a factory here in South Carolina, and I like to invest long term in all stocks that are vested in South Carolina. BA is I think the only one now that I was missing. Now that it came down below 100, I'm ready to invest. I'll keep buying until we can get a bounce on this, and eventually it will. It's gonna come back. The government is not gonna let it fail. Even if it has to restructure, I believe this stock's gonna come back. So fundamentally is with a slight hint of technical analysis, but it's more so fundamental analysis that is why I'm buying now. And if it gaps down tomorrow, we get into the 80s, I'm going to buy again. So I'm going to be building a position on this BA. I bought it today looking for a day trade to break out. But, as I was thinking, I'm like, let me just flip this position and turn it into my long-term hold. I can start buying a position because we're at 100 and this is where I wanted to start building. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. So if I add, I'll let you know that I'm adding and whatnot. But this is going to be a long-term hold. It's not a swing. It's going to be transferred to my long-term account. So that's where we're going to be seeing it from now on. All right, so that's going to do it tonight. I hope you guys have a great night and rest easy. We'll see if we can close this week out on the strong side.